What is up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new video of a Russian guy bringing you the most recent news coming from the inside of Russia. And today we're going to be talking about different topics, and the first topic that I wanted to talk about is a Ukrainian drone attacking a special forces university in Gudermes, which is located in Chechnya. This is what Ramzan Kadyrov has reported. According to him, at 6:30 a.m., as a result of an unmanned attack, the roof of an empty building on the territory of the Russian Special Forces University caught fire. Kadyrov has also said that there was no casualties because the building was empty. But why am I even talking about this? A lot of you might be thinking, who the heck cares about some special university somewhere in Chechnya? Well, after all of that, Ramzan Kadyrov has got an interview taken from him. He has said that the Chechen soldiers are not going to take any Ukrainian armed soldier as a prisoner. Let's roll the clip. Will there be any answer to the attacks? Always. Chechen never leaves itself. They beat us. We will destroy them. In the near future, we will give them such retribution that they will not dream of it. But we will not allow them to joke with us. Today I gave all commanders who are in the front lines to not take prisoners, to destroy and intensify the fight even more than 100%, so that they understand how the Chechens can still give them more military capability. So from this attack that has occurred by exploding Vladimir Putin's university, the actual university of the Special Forces is called Putin's Special Forces University, has been blown up. The roof of it has caught on fire, big flames, and that has really enraged the leader of the Chechen Republic. And he has said that he is not going to be taking any prisoner, and that they're going to be getting rid of every single enemy that goes in front of them. This is a very bold statement, and this is very scary and very saddening, because there are still rules and laws when you are having a war. You still have to follow some rules. But from what we see now, and before anyways, I'm pretty sure rules were broken, but he basically stated that there's no more rules for him and his soldiers, and that he's going to be just doing some really gruesome and horrible things to the Ukrainian soldiers that are trying to defend their own land. Very, very sad and unbelievable. But this is the reality of Russia and the Russian leadership in general. I have been doing a bit of research about the North Korean troops in Russia and all that stuff. I know a lot of you might be saying, oh, not again, Ivan. You're going to be talking about the North Koreans. Well, just a little bit, because according to the South Korean intelligence, North Korea could have sold weapons worth 5.5 billion US dollars to Russia. Can you imagine the amount of money being spent by Russia right now? The economy is already in ruins, but it's going to be even getting worse and worse day by day by spending so much money on weapons, militaries, and all that stuff, because rockets have a tendency of exploding. And that's basically burning through the money. Not even talking about the gruesome and horrible things those rockets do to civilians and soldiers. And the soldiers that are from North Korea should be engaged in combat in Kursk region by the end of the week. Now, this is really interesting because I am really interested to see how are those North Koreans going to be able to speak to the Russian soldiers and scream at the Ukrainian soldiers, for example, in Kursk region, because I'm not sure how they're supposed to be operating because they have zero war experience. Yes, they've been trained, but that is nothing like a real battlefield. And you're literally joining a different nation with a different language that is completely different. So that's going to be very interesting to see. And I'm not sure how this is going to work out whatsoever. But I can tell you one thing. This only means one thing. The Russian president is scared to mobilize Russian people because he understands that if he starts mobilizing more Russian people, they will have nothing else to lose than to stand up against the government. So instead of that, he bought himself a bunch of North Korean mercenaries. I'll call them mercenaries because they've been bought to fight against the Ukrainian military. Now, because of all of those news, South Korea is actually considering sending weapons to Ukraine and also its soldiers to Ukraine. This can only mean one thing. We might be seeing the battle between South Korea and North Korea, but on foreign land. And the thing is, the whole world can be dragged into a global war. It's going to be crazy if North Koreans are going to be actually in Ukraine, which means that the South Korean is probably going to send their military over, and it's going to be a big mess. It seems like, at the times right now, we're actually being dragged into a third world war, which is very scary. Very, very scary. If you guys remember, the Cold War was not fun. But this is something different. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Russia's countries, the friends that they choose, like North Korea. But today, I want to talk about Afghanistan, and it's just a little insight for you of what sort of friends Russia is with. Because in Afghanistan, women have been banned from talking to each other, even on the street, said the Taliban Ministry of Virtue and Morality. What is this? All right. You took away like every single human right from a woman in Afghanistan, and now you're like, you know what? You can't go outside on the streets by yourself. You can't do this. You can't talk to men. Now you can't talk to women. You can't get education. What are they even thinking? Like, seriously, do they think that their country is going to be economically growing if there is no women in that economy? They're absolutely nuts and bonkers, but that is some great Russian allies. North Korea, Afghanistan under the Taliban regime. Flippin' heck. It's unbelievable what is happening during our times around the world. Because when I was a kid in school and I would read history books, I'd be like, whoa. Some crazy stuff happened back then. I doubt that something like this is going to happen again. And guess what? History tends to repeat itself. In Russia, the prices of butter has risen by 30%. And now there's no more jewelry robbers and there's no more bank robbers because you don't have to do such crazy things. Now you could just steal butter because it's so expensive. Russia cannot produce a lot of that butter because people don't have enough money to buy it, and it's just unbelievable. So they actually started importing butter from Turkey, and the price of a brick of butter is like $5, which is literally half of somebody's salary in Moscow or maybe a whole day's salary in Russia. So if we check out this clip right here, we could see a guy stealing 25 packs of butter. The employees also try to stop the robbers, which I'm actually surprised that they were actually bothered trying to get back what they stole. But the robbers have pulled out a knife, and obviously the shopkeepers are not going to be having any knives, so they let them go. But for 25 packs of butter, the criminals are facing up to 10 years in prison. And this is the results of Putin's Russia, 25 years of results. Now, we know that the Russian president is saying that everything is going according to plan in the so-called special military operation, But I want to read this out to you. The Russian National Guard is going to forgive certain violations by gun owners if they hand them over for the needs of the special military operation. The agency promised not to hold anyone liable for certain administrative violations in the area of arms circulation that did not result in negative consequences. So, for example, you were holding something illegal, like an AK-47. You're not going to get in trouble if you forfeit that gun over, so it could be sent over to the Russian military. But if the special military is going according to plan, why are they trying to take weapons away from their citizens? It really doesn't make any sense. And to the last news of today's video. On Russian television, I call the propaganda box, the TV presenters and their guests have said that Russia has never invaded anybody in the last 200 years. Let's check out this video. And this is what happened after we came to Europe on our own. This happened after the most unprecedented in general in the history of mankind. No one has ever gathered 600,000 for an army. But over the past 200 years, the West has invaded Russia 4 times. 4 times. Napoleon, the Crimean War intervention, the Great Patriotic War of 18th and 19th. 4 times. In 200 years, Russia has invaded at least once, at least in one country in Europe. There is no. It has not invaded these stories with Prague in 1968, with Hungary in 1956. Well, let it be. We have our own zone of interest. These countries fought on the side of the fascists against us. Therefore, this is completely different. What is this guy talking about? So Russia did not invade anybody because the countries were in the zones of interest of Russia, so you could not call them invasions. What you can't really take away from these wingbags is their ability to distort reality beyond recognition. Like, those guys are either smoking something very hard or actually believe in the lies that they tell to the public. And I find it unbelievable that they could be saying that they have not invaded anybody for the past 200 years, where there's literally an invasion happening from Russia that invaded Ukraine. And you're saying that 200 years, no invasions. I just cannot believe it. They're saying this on television, and Russian people who watch the TV are going to be walking around and saying whatever that guy on television said, because television never lies, guys. Russian television is always the truth. And that is what is happening in Russia. And this is why a lot of Russians are brainwashed and do not understand what the heck is going on in reality inside of Russia and outside of Russia. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it informative, and I have set up a Ko-fi account, so if somebody wants to support the channel, you could check out the link in the description. Also, if you want to check out an automotive channel from me, also the links are going to be in the description, and I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel and hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and type a few comments on what you guys think about all of this. I read every single comment, and I would love to hear your opinion about all of this. Now, stay safe, everybody, and I will see you guys in the next video.